Hey everybody, welcome to the Campfire Passport podcast. Tonight's episode is myself, Colin, Steve, Mike, and Tyson. I miss anybody, Colin? Is that right?
That sounds right to me.
That's five. That's good. We have a rousing good time on this episode. And it's something that we crowdsourced our topic. We asked all the guys, hey, what should we do for a main topic? And Tyson came up with one, and it's fun. We talk about like overland gear, or not overland, I guess, really off-road gear, recovery gear, things like that, and some useful info in there. I want to be real honest. It's not our most exciting episode, but it actually is probably one of the more informative ones. So I don't know, tomato. Gonna figure it out. If you hate this, you should comment though, because I'd be very interested to know if you hate it or if you love it, because that would also be interesting. Beyond that, not a whole lot going on. Colin and I were just going over some statistics for the website, or for the audio for the podcast, and I really want to shout out our international user base. Apparently, we have a great Hong Kong contingent, as well as Brussels. So Belgium is fantastic. Thank you, Belgium. Everybody else, thank you. Keep listening. Like, comment, subscribe. Colin, what do you got for us?
Not a whole lot other than I need to announce a correction from our last podcast. Jesse was very adamant once again about this Hilux stuff. And I just have to force a correction here because he said that the Chinook did not come on the first gen Hilux, and that the Hilux in question that we were talking about, that you did say that it had 4 headlights. You were pretty sure that it had. And for our video audience, that is absolutely correct here. I'll pull up some pictures here for you, for the video audience to see there. That is 4 headlights, and that is a Chinook, and they are Toyota World Runners. That is their Instagram name. They're the ones that we were talking about that have this kind of wild Hilux that is a Chinook. So sorry, Jesse, but you're wrong.
Hello, cat. Goodbye, cat.
Yeah. I have to. The cat was bugging me, so I had to bug the shit out of it, and now it left.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well,
you gotta do what you
It's
gotta
science.
I thought we'd start today out with some news. And I had one news thing that's happened since we talked about news, which has been like 2 months, I think. We haven't done any news kind of things recently. And the back end of that, I think, is that we've kind of backlogged some podcasts, so things become a little less relevant. So there's a fight back and forth on trying to figure that out. But I'm going to do this anyways because it's
timing's
really popular.
It's timeless news.
I want to get the opinion of all of you on the Cybertruck because it's the most interesting thing to have happened in automotive in the recent memory. So this is we're recording this right at the beginning of the year.
It's shaped like one of those Wendy's trash cans where you can push in on either side and it goes.
Yeah, it is. It's my opinion. It's ugly as sin, but it is interesting. The Jason Camisa video on it, if you guys haven't watched it on the Haggerty YouTube, you should. It's really interesting, and he actually deep dives on like some really cool stuff about it and some not so cool stuff about it, and it made me learn kind of what it actually does or is. And I still don't like it, but it is interesting. It's fast, it's heavy, it has this crazy rear steer. It's like the first production vehicle to have steer by wire, which is pretty interesting. So it has no connection directly on the column, but it also has like 3 different redundant systems built into that, so like it can help itself. Apparently, it's super off-putting to turn around in a parking lot, but then once you get used to it, it's pretty drivable. I don't know. Kind of interesting. We've seen.
I'll go
like,
first
the
here.
different videos of it
It's
going all over the
ugly
place,
as sin, and there's nothing about it that I care. It's terrible. It's a terrible truck.
Hot take.
Yep.
I think that
I can second that
it's
one.
kind of neat with that one headlight thing in the front, and the rest of it. I think they could just like if you stopped at that headlight and got rid of the rest of it, I think we could salvage that.
Yeah,
I
just
don't
like
know.
most Tesla, it's overhyped and under-delivered.
And late.
If they get delivered.
Oh,
Exactly.
Yeah.
so late. Yeah, that's the other interesting
Overhyped,
thing.
never delivered.
Yeah, they were supposed to be like $40,000 or something, and they're well over 100. So
Yeah.
whoops, didn't quite hit
Big
the mark.
surprise
It was also
there.
supposed to do 500 miles. It did less. There's all sorts of stuff, but
I mean,
I don't know.
even if they
Well,
came
with
out
X tanking the way it is, he's got to up the prices somehow, right?
Yeah,
and
You mean
if
Twitter.
it came out, even if they like didn't go hard into the paint with the
There's no pain.
advertising and all of it, it still would have been an under-delivered piece of garbage.
yeah, it's ugly as sin. There's no way around it. It's really bad. But people love it already. It's one of those things, and I think there's like half of that is Elon Musk fanboys, and the other half of it is just people that I don't know. We've had this argument 100 times in like our personal group chats and things. Like, just because it's different doesn't mean it's better.
Right.
And a lot of people think if it's different, it's better, and that I think is happening.
I think it's
It's
just like
too different.
The DeLorean. It just has those same sharp, simple lines, so it's appealing to the eye. I get the shape, I get the whole design feature, awesome job, but from that it starts to fall flat.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't.
It
So I don't
DeLorean
like,
it feels
is
like
more
I would take a DeLorean over it.
healing.
Absolutely. Yeah. I especially the history of it too. It even makes it even better. I think a lot of people fell in love with the idea of it and are now like they can't backtrack falling in love with the idea of it because they've already invested too much in it and now they have to just wait for it to maybe show up and probably not deliver the way they wanted it to, but they're not going to admit it because they spent an immense amount of money on it that they can't get back now.
Well,
Here's the
everybody spent
thing about the
$100 on it.
Cybertruck. The thing that it did is it made the R1T possible because that is its competition. And
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's that
I would
and
take
Lightning.
R1T 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah, that they already blew the competition out of the water. Like,
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it leaps and bounds.
I saw one. There was one that was in an accident already, where like the side of it got hit, and because it was so
I mean, I hope they were
strong
okay.
and thick and bulletproof or whatever, like it shifted the whole corner of the truck. It didn't just dent the side panel; like the whole thing shifted in at one of the seams.
so
And I was,
Be gone,
you guys should
crumple
watch this
zones.
video
is it?
because it is really interesting. So that thing doesn't really have like a frame necessarily. Its body panels are mostly its frame, but
Like
it's
unibody-ish?
also
Yeah.
to their credit. And again, like I don't like it, and I really have other opinions about the person that owns the company that makes it, but it has like the highest crash test rating ever right now. Its side impact they show in the in the Legends video, and it's insane how much pressure it can take, and it's because it's got this ridiculous stainless like alloy material. So like it's got a couple things where you're like, wow, that's pretty cool, but the package is such a shit sandwich that like
Well, and also pay attention to that because a lot of the information that people were talking about with the crash test rating It's got an amazing crash test rating. It is always totaled. No matter what you hit, no matter how you do it, everything moves with everything, and nothing has like a give or crumple point. So that like rear impact thing that I was saying, like, yeah, the panels were still straight, all that stuff. At one of the panel gaps, it looks like the back of the truck shifted over because it didn't have any other. I mean, I know they've got crumple zones and things for passenger safety, but all the things I was reading from, subreddits on engineering and crud.
That makes you sound way smarter.
There's no way. I know. I don't.
What I'm about to say.
I don't read them very often, but I was looking at the Cybertruck stuff after the accident picture thing.
Watch.
And yeah, like they're going to be interesting.
Watch this video.
So
take advantage or take notes during the crash section, and then come back to me with your information.
Okay.
But I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying watch it, take notes, come back. Then we'll revisit. And again, I wish it wasn't anywhere good because I think it's ugly and it's terrible, and I hope it doesn't sell. But it's going to. It already has. Whatever. It's is what it is.
It reminds me of the Daewoo Lanos and the Hyundai Accents of like the 90s, where it was a $10,000 car, brand new, and you got hit by a shopping cart and it totaled the thing. But this is a $100,000 car that gets totaled when the shopping cart hits it. And that's...
Well, I bet it would take a shopping cart
with me.
It'll take a sledgehammer to the door.
Cart.
I can tell you that much. So
just not to the window.
Somebody try to bow.
Definitely not the window.
It'd be the shopping cart from that Jackass movie.
Yeah, with all the guys in it.
Yeah.
Well,
that
I mean, to be fair, also the Rivian, I watched a video for a guy who had a rear impact and it like dented the bumper and a little bit of the bed, and it was $48,000 for repairs.
Wow.
Because it's all one mono body frame thing that was very difficult. So I mean,
I would imagine
not total though.
They're not alone in that, right? Yeah.
I would imagine that the part of that you run into too is like low production number, small vehicle manufacturer stuff, because like you got to think if you have the same thing happen to, and I know it's a way more expensive car, but like a Pagani or something, right? Like not only is the part going to cost a lot because it's an exotic car, they only made 1,000 of that, not
and you got to send it back to Luigi.
150,000 F-150s or whatever.
Tesla
for that
is
month.
also notorious for being difficult with their repairs. That is true. Has to go to a Tesla repair facility. You can't have any independent body shop that I know of. Hit us up at secretrsvp@gmail.com if you know different.
Yeah, at one point they were like actively seeking out
Reddits.
Anyone doing aftermarket repairs and offering cease and desist letters.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole thing. It's not good.
Even guys with YouTube channels that posted like how to do minor repairs, they like committed like DMCA strikes on them. It's like, whoa.
Jesus.
You've been swatted.
Yeah. Only one person make profit.
Oh, boy.
What other news you got?
I brought my one thing. Everybody else has to bring something.
Okay. Well, I've got something that's relatively interesting, but if Mike has something to say, go ahead.
No. I have bad news.
Oh, okay. I had mentioned
wasn't bad enough
in the. I had mentioned in the last podcast that we did recently find out that Luke does listen to the podcast, and some of you that are here with us today were involved with the Top 5 Under 5. And so I hope that the others listened to the Top 5 Under 5. And if not, too bad. We're going to talk about that real quick because Luke sent a second comment on the same video giving us his list. I'm sure that no one is up on the comments on the YouTube thing except for me. So I figured I'd go over that with
I
you
should have
so
seen
we
it.
can
I'm surprised.
we can give some some feedback to Luke that he'll hear weeks from now. So his OLI, he did have an OLI, Grand Vitara, which that's fine. We did have a mention of that. It was just that it was size wise not a great size,
A little small.
So number 5, and I have a bit of a problem with this, but that's fine, I guess. He has a KJ Liberty diesel, which is pretty terrible.
Way. 0. No, absolutely not.
Yeah.
I have worked on those. Luke, what? Stop.
I'm sure he's worked on them too. He was all about it. I just talked to Luke about
it's
this.
Not number 5. Jesus.
I have a Pathfinder sitting behind me that would be better than that. It's for sale. You hit me up at secretrs@gmail.com.
It's funny that you mentioned that because his number 4 is an R50 Pathy. So there you go. So
I'm sorry, I
his
misunderstood. The Vitara was an honorable mention. Okay.
Yeah, OLI, outside looking in. And then the
Thank
KJ
you for saying that because I had no idea what that meant. I googled it.
I had no idea what you meant either.
I've used it on every list. I've used it on every list.
It's an industry term.
Play it back.
You've never, Sean. You literally said it back to me on the last pod. What are you talking about? You've never heard me say that on the very last pod. You literally said it back.
John drinks a lot for these podcasts.
Oh, man.
Oh my god! Wow,
I don't know.
You guys are just
all
blindly going through life. Okay, so
sometimes.
number
you're
number
gonna go to
3.
that point later.
His number 3 here, which we're all going to be fine with. XJ, that's fine.
Yeah.
Should have been number 1.
Chalk. We all
I know.
His number 2, first gen Xterra, and we can let Tyson argue whether or not that's a good choice.
I was gonna say it's a good one under 5 because you're gonna have a lot of money left over to do whatever.
Yeah. I didn't really have a problem with it. It's not anybody's real favorite, I guess, but like it does the stuff with the things,
To put it in perspective, Sean brought up the Land Cruiser. Like, you got to get a garbage Land Cruiser for $5,000.
It's probably on fire.
And you're going to have to
keep it under
down
5. Yeah.
From for $5,000, you got it's under 100,000 miles. The thing is spotless. It just the seller will even
it's
shine
a really
the
nice
Xterra. Yeah. Hold on. Mike's gonna show up.
Pathfinder.
There you go.
That's my $400.
But Mike wants more than 400.
Let's go. Yep. No, I got it. It was broken. Not broken anymore.
All right, so
okay, what's
his
number 1? What's number 1, Luke?
Number 1 also can't really go argued because some of us had the same thing on their list.
Let me guess.
WJ
Montero.
Grand Cherokee.
No.
No Montero on the list.
Yeah.
So he was very Jeep heavy, which
Fair.
3 out of his 5 are Jeeps. Yeah, the guy that owns a Gladiator.
Diesel Liberty is like a 3-position.
That's the questionable
oh my
one.
God.
Yeah,
that's no.
It's
No.
highly questionable. Yeah, it's not even. I don't know.
I would
It's
take
like
that.
Grand
I
Vitara,
would
but
drive
they couldn't
that
hit it from
around
across the room.
the factory that it was built at because they stopped making parts for them.
No. Yeah, that's I thought it'd be fun to go over, get everyone's live reaction for it, and now he can listen back and hear our critique. So
Yeah.
Wasn't
Love
there,
you, Luke,
Didn't
but
he have some
God,
sort of
You should have started drinking earlier when you made
Comment
that list.
on ours too.
Yeah,
I thought there was something
he had
else.
he had a comment on ours on our list.
Okay.
It was basically he gave us a little critique on ours in the comments.
Can I make a
Okay.
quick
I didn't read
critique?
that.
Wasn't
Because
it was
this is going
it
to
was
be
all things that we said
ages
really,
old.
but
So no one said Sequoia. Honestly.
Hmm.
Like you
It's
can get
hard
a
to get
Sequoia.
a
Have you found
Sequoia
one
under
for under
$5
$5,000 yet?
Yeah, no, they are there.
It's like the Land Cruiser.
thing, though. Yeah,
they're
So-
there, but yeah, exactly.
they exist.
It exists, yeah.
Eh.
And if you'll remember when I was talking about my list, I had that initial thought of it's not going to be a piece of shit. It's going to be a pretty decent example of this vehicle for under $5,000. Like that was my basis. Like I would get it and I'd be like, hey, cool. I'm good with hopping in it right now and taking it on a trip. Like it's nice. It's not like I'm going to get into it and everything's falling apart inside because it was the cheapest version of this car I could get.
Yeah,
Right.
Yeah, but
Absolutely.
We're talking about Toyotas, so even the cheapest version is going to be fine.
It's still going to be could be pretty gross inside. Pretty unpleasant
Might be
inside.
gross, but it'll make
Fine.
I mean, yeah, I didn't say it wouldn't make it. I'm just saying it's
Yeah.
gonna, it's gonna be a little
Have
weird.
the
in there,
windows cracked because what the fuck is that smell?
Yeah,
it. It's okay. It was cheap.
Certainly compared to the
That makes up
Lexus
for it.
version variety.
Yeah. I have room
Yeah,
in the
well-
budget for 5 air fresheners. It's great.
just
You only
enough.
hold 3 at the prices you're paying with Toyota tax. Yeah.
Yeah, they
Came
come in a
under
3-pack.
budget,
So
guys.
Yeah.
You want fresh pine or
Oh,
black
man.
ice?
Sean definitely
Mix.
wants black ice.
What's your bad news, Mike?
I traded. So you know how transmissions generally have that, park, reverse, neutral, drive, and then a certain number of gears below. I traded one of my my only reverse gear for an extra neutral in the JK. And come to find out, what we have in the town of Bend, Oregon and Redmond, Oregon is transmission shops that are full and aren't interested in working on your Jeep. So they tell you things like $6,700 and we can do it in May.
Jesus.
So
I'll tell you what, $5,000 and I can do it in February.
no, for like $600 I can get a full rebuild kit, and I'm gonna do it myself. And
That's what I was
man.
going to do, so good for you.
yeah, I was like, holy cow. To be fair, the Redmond shop said $3,800, but you can buy them new for $2,000 and have them shipped to your house. So I'm not sure what kind of rebuild they're doing.
Well, that's what they're doing, but they're
so that was-
they're upcharging.
that was
it.
just a bench. That was just a bench rebuild, or is that in like pulling it out and putting it back in? The R
It's
and
pulling it and everything. I asked them if they would do
Okay,
a
well,
bench, and they said no.
That's not
They said
terrible.
no.
then.
Yeah.
I've never heard of a transmission
Yeah.
shop that wouldn't do it out of the vehicle.
A lot of shops, unless it's something simple like a power glide that only has 2 gears, they want to be able to test it so that when you say that you don't have a certain gear or it's doing a flare or it's doing a delay, then they can say, no, we tested it.
Right.
Yeah,
That's fair.
makes sense.
But also, I have to only go visit people who live in cul-de-sacs. So I can
I'm on the
leave
list.
when I'm
Great.
done. I know. Yep.
Colin's
Otherwise,
got a through street. It's fine.
yeah, I could do that.
Yeah,
there's a
mine goes all the way
wraparound
through,
or
man.
The street parking. Yeah. God.
Couple right-handers and you're back where you started.
All the forward gears. All the forward gears are perfect. So that's kind of funny.
Yeah, I guess you're not going to visit
what a
me for a
weird
while. I
thing,
don't even
too.
have a cul-de-sac. I'm just a dead end.
Yep.
Not good.
I'll park down the road. Yeah.
You just open your
Hike in.
gate. You could pull
Oh,
into
yeah,
your
that's a good point. I'll
corral.
open the lot.
Oh yeah, there you
There's
go.
enough room
Pull
for
into
you
the
to
side
turn.
lot. And...
Yeah.
Mike's coming over. Got to open the gate.
Oh man, that was super frustrating. I thought that was going to be a quick fix, and I will probably miss snow wheeling season if it ever shows up.
You could put
Have
an
you thought
LS
about-
in it.
is there,
And
like,
yeah, you
with a
might
4L
not.
80.
You could do that.
You might get it done, and then we'll be
I
able
know.
to go snow wheeling.
Yeah.
The way things are going, shit.
I have to be ready for a specific trip in a specific time, so I want to get it back together and make sure that it's not bad.
Yeah, we want to make sure it's not bad, too.
Get a couple tests in first.
Yeah. The road trip down there is going to be my test drive.
The old McGrew break-in.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it went great for you, right, Tyson?
Somehow I lost my e-brake, but yeah.
Flawless.
Other than
You
that,
almost
yeah.
lost your parking brake.
Fuel pump's still running just fine, though.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Colin was there. It started up real easy one of the last times. I'm not used to that.
No other parking brake issues.
Oh yeah, definitely parking brake still being weird, but I'll figure that out later. I'll make sure you're parked behind me, Steve.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just chalk the wheel.
Just make sure tire swings out.
Yeah.
God. I'd like to gouge the front of whatever's behind me.
Yeah, my tire chalk is named Steve.
I know it was a question of roll forward or backwards.
Both. You got to soften the blow. So you got to go up to it and then slide on back with it.
Catch it.
Yeah, nice catch.
Yeah. It's like trying to catch an egg when you were a kid in the field games days.
It's exactly like that, but with trucks.
Yeah, not an egg in sight. What?
All right, Sean, you
Who
want
else
to give
has
us
news?
our
I got
main
nothing.
topic then?
I've been doing nothing with
this is your
keeping up
your
on
show.
any automotive news. I avoid the Cybertruck, and that's it.
That's it. Anybody watch the new 4-wheel drive 24/7 where they do Fraser Island?
I'm halfway through
I
that.
haven't gotten to it
I
yet.
haven't finished it yet because Miles and I watched it together, but he hasn't
pretty
been
good.
ready to watch it again.
It's
We're
pretty
just
good,
right
man.
to when they went
I'm
back to go help him on the beach.
super behind. I'm behind. I'm very
Spoilers.
behind on the YouTube stuff.
That's
Oh,
not
no.
it's in the intro thing. It says that they're doing it on the words. It's the title of the video.
I mean, still kind of spoilers.
I guess if you're trying to keep the title of the video to yourself until you're
I
ready
watch
to watch
all of those with my eyes closed because I don't want anything spoiled.
I also plug my ears and I actually leave my phone in the other room.
Right. I just hit play and run.
They're gonna get that
I swear
view,
that's
but
how
I'm
my
not gonna
mom
view
calls
it.
me. I tell her that all the time. I was like, "Did you just call me?" And then I missed it. I'll call her right back. It's been 15 seconds. Nothing. I don't hear from her for an hour. And I'm like, "Why did you call me?" And then as soon as I called you back, you're gone. It's like, did you just? He didn't answer, and then just, I don't need that anymore. Just huck it across the room. What happens?
Teresa, we'll give you some phone etiquette.
That happens to me too.
Oh,
Yeah.
Maybe she's just going
You know,
down
I
the
tell
line.
ya.
She's calling Matt next and got no time for you anymore.
It's true.
She does watch this, so I'll probably hear about it.
It'll be a little
Teresa,
while,
we know you mean well.
That's right.
Why does she hide from the callback?
Yeah.
Well, Steve,
No news.
It just,
that's good.
No.
Great.
Yeah.
Well,
Steve and Tyson.
All right,
here with
everybody. Good
the,
night. We're
Guess,
All right.
guess we're back to you, Sean.
Oh, that's great.
Back to Sean. We've gone around the circle.
What were we? That was pretty much the main thing. So, other than that, we have a good main topic that Tyson came up with, and in my normal tradition of passing the buck here, I'm going to ask Tyson to explain what his main topic idea was, so we can all play by those rules. I also did no preparation again, which is going to tie into my answer. So go ahead.
Yeah,
Tyson.
big surprise.
I forgot.
I had a feeling that would be the case, but I had a thought for a topic of what do we bring when we go out wheeling gear wise. So not like, do you have a winch or do you have a locker or nothing like that? That's part of the truck. But like, what's the gear that you could put in another rig that would help out in some way? And so one of the first things I thought is the kinetic rope that Jesse got for me, affectionately known as the dope rope. That thing has gotten me out of a lot of spots, gotten a lot of you guys out of spots. And I remember the first trip it went on, it got used quite a bit. So that was a good time.
Mm-hmm.
It's
There's
to a point.
a handful
you need
of
one
other
on
things.
every
And
rig.
yeah, so what do you guys bring?
Well, if they want to sponsor us, feel free to reach out to
outside of every
secretrsvp
rig
at gmail.com.
needing a dope
we
rope.
can get one sent to us.
It would then that would only serve to the purpose that not have to walk far or have someone else bring theirs up.
Yeah.
But
Sure.
Tools, you have to have your tools.
Wow.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tools are
Or
important.
at least most of them.
It's good to know what special tools you might need. Torx, Allen,
Mhm.
that kind of stuff. Because
Yeah, the right
everyone
stuff for the rig you're in.
seems like everyone has a nice socket set, maybe some wrenches. But when you're like, anyone got a T27 Torx? And everyone's
Right.
looking around
Or,
like a bunch
I
of
have a Phillips
assholes.
screwdriver and a hammer.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it
You
also
mean
makes
a
more
fuel
sense
pump repair. That's a
before
fuel
you
pump
even-
repair kit. Yeah.
like before you even go to make sure you actually have like decent recovery points set up on your rig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because searching for a tow hook here, or well, do you have any shackles? Well, huh? It's
Yeah, so like my things that never leave the rig are regular toolkit that has most of the things that I think I would need for my rig specifically, plus just normal things. I've always meant to, and I probably will do this before we do like the next big trip. Hopefully, I've always meant to like put together a separate pack of things that I know like I need for front end stuff, or I need for whatever it is, like the specific things I know I need together all the time.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, some sort of strap. I use like a kinetic tow strap instead of the rope. The rope is better. I just have a strap and it hasn't broken again. So that's what I've got. Shackles for it. Compressor, air down tool, which is more of a luxury than a need.
Mhm.
And that is pretty much my entire kit that's with me all the time. There are things that I could use more, I think. I actually have a spare strap that's hidden somewhere because I have this like compartment in the side of the, like one of the side pockets that you can't get to without removing like part of my drawer system. So that's my hidden spare strap just in case.
In case
But
of
that stuff, I
serious
think-
emergencies.
Yeah, exactly. That stuff is like a minimum for most people. And there's a lot more that you can do. And there are people, Jesse, that are way more prepared than I am. But that's gotten me out of most things that I need to get out of. I usually have plates with me. Last year during a snow wheeling trip, I definitely dug myself out with a plate. And it worked. So
Yeah.
guess everything was fine.
So take
Yeah, 'cause I
that.
think like my high lift, my shovel, my snatch block. I have like a pseudo dead man that folds up into a small like sheet.
Steve killed a guy?
Gloves.
Pseudo.
Yeah, it's
Pseudo.
literally a dead man.
Oh, I thought you said judo. Yeah.
Not a judo
And
dead man.
what's been super valuable are the little soft shackles.
Yeah. I need to switch mine to soft shackles. Now, I guess there's one thing that's also hidden in the truck that I never use because I always forget I have it. I have one soft shackle and one of those recovery rings, like the snatch block that's just the ring.
Mm-hmm.
Never used it before. Should be using just the soft shackle from it, but I honestly am not 100% sure where it is. So
I've seen one of
So
those
I'll
rings
tell you
get
why I
used
don't
as
have
like a
soft
three-way
shackles.
pulley.
yeah.
The soft shackle
Why?
did not
Because
help
you're
Mike
always hard.
pull a semi truck out. So I figured they're just not good enough.
Yeah, no, it got cut. It was the issue of how sharp it was. It wasn't an issue of the strength. And that's what you get for letting a trucker set his own shackle. I should have put it where I knew it was going to be fine. And
Yeah, but if it were
the third
steel,
or fourth
I
real
think it would have
hard,
been fine.
Unless you
third or
tighten it with a Leatherman.
real hard hit. Yeah,
People love
Yeah.
to do that.
yeah. I don't know why people.
Other than the kinetic rope, I think just a standard toe strap is also super necessary because for
Even if you're just using it as a tree saver.
yeah,
Mhm.
precisely.
They work
If
great for
you're
that.
using
or
it,
rock saver.
yeah, just wrap it around your anchor, or if you are getting towed out, like yours truly has in recent trips, it's nice to not have that bounce. You just want to have that constant to tow you. So that's a good one to have. Yeah,
Even
I'll second air compressor. That's a good one to have.
A come along.
If
That's
you can
another
have a
thing that,
come
like,
along,
is an unsung hero.
yeah, come along is definitely a big help, especially if you don't have a winch. Get a winch.
We used a come along like out at what's that canyon? Schwartz Canyon. To get out of a pinch when I think it was Robbie's like rear end got pinched behind a rock, so we had to just pull it a couple inches out
Mm,
and just use a come along. This was the only thing
that
we could
makes
do.
sense.
You can use a high lift as a come along.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
If you have to do some trail repairs, then you can get your strap around one end and the come along around the other. Do a little
Yep.
quick body work. One of my other favorite things is because I love gadgets. Jesse will bring a chainsaw, but what's a lot easier to use is one of those silky saws, the foldable ones.
Mhm.
So
Mm-hmm.
Yep, I still need to get one of
the
those.
size that you think is. I mean, they make ones that are. I think it's even called the katana or something, but they're like 4 feet long. I mean, it's super cool looking. I don't think it's super practical.
Yeah,
but
they are. They're
you
brutal
do
looking.
Yeah. So I'm a similar kit. Obviously, a good spare. Obviously, a good strap. Obviously, a good rope. I generally, on a bigger trip that we're going on, or something that I'm thinking is going to have some trouble, I'll bring my electric ratchet. I'll bring an impact. I have room usually to bring a grinder with a couple
Yeah, that's a
cutoff
good idea.
wheels. And I don't know. I'm not otherwise bringing anything really exciting, but like an axe almost always, because it's fun to have an axe. Yeah, that's kind of it.
I've
That's still a lot.
seen numerous times where a maul would have helped because I've seen Jesse and personally have him break like an axe of mine,
Yeah.
and seen him break someone else. So a maul might be handy.
Well, speaking of Jesse, another one we bring on camp trips is the leaf blower. When he showed up on McGrew with that
that's a
leaf
great
blower, that was money. I started bringing mine whenever we take the big truck because I got room for it.
Yeah, dust,
Yeah,
light,
the key
snow,
is to have the
anything
little
like that is
short
yeah,
snout
works great.
attachment
That's a
on it instead of the
definite
long,
thing
the
I
long one.
never thought would apply to any of this sort of, automotive enthusiast activity. And yeah, that's definitely a winner.
Yeah.
I think
Absolutely.
another underrepresented piece is extra socks. Bring extra socks always.
Just in
Or a
general.
buddy.
Yeah,
Bring
always.
a friend.
It's kind of like the
I was
Hitchhiker's
gonna say-
Guide. Always bring, make sure you have your towel.
Yeah, always
Bring
have your
extra
towel.
socks.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Don't forget to bring a towel.
I was looking at the text you sent us, and it was like favorite thing to bring. Mine is Mike or Jesse,
Yeah. No,
because
that's
I know if
absolutely.
I have Mike or Jesse, I've got what I need.
Yeah, I like to have all the stuff.
The only downside to Mike over Jesse in the past was that Jesse always had a full-size spare that would fit my truck, and Mike has never had that. But now Jesse doesn't have that either, so
Yeah.
Mm.
I
Yeah, you're
just
running
gotta
out
go
of
with
options,
Colin.
bud.
That's
Well, another
until the
problem
Wagoneer's
is
gone.
those things don't
Yeah.
exactly fit in your rig. You need to bring
No.
them in their respective rig,
Mhm.
and
Hmm.
that's a
Yeah,
lot
so a
more
radio to
space.
talk to Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite thing to bring would probably be Steve, because
You said
at
you've
least
never
I know,
used that
even if
little
I'm stuck, I'm
recovery
eating
ring,
well.
Sean.
That's true. What was that, Tyson?
You've never used the recovery ring, the
No,
donut.
I've
Is
never
that supposed
needed
to function
Yeah, like,
as
I really.
a block,
A
a
snatch
snatch
block.
block?
Yep.
But you can
Yeah.
Yeah,
can run it as a
double.
snatch
You can
block
double them
around,
over,
and then double it through.
and then through
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Okay,
it's pretty
I've got to
well
look
the one
into
that
this
work
more
too.
because that's intriguing to me.
Triple reduction
Mhm.
gear.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
mean,
gotta check
honestly,
the
I've
video
used my
out for
winch
stuff like that. It's
10
really cool.
times. So.
Yeah, there was
being
someone-
Wow, you've been keeping
Like, I
track.
forgot what he was using.
No, I said 10 times.
Okay,
That means
I thought we
7
I thought we had
12.
a tally somewhere.
That's what this means.
Get smaller tires so you can
I
use
was
it
hoping
more.
for a live tally. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't track his miles. He tracks how many times he uses his winch.
That's right.
It's a low-hour machine, you know.
That's
Yeah.
right.
The electric motor hasn't been doing a lot. What else do we like to bring? So, like, outside of tools, I guess, what's a always constant thing that you would keep in your rig? For, like, my example, I always have some sort of blanket in there because I'll usually have a wife or a son who is cold. And even though we knew we were going out into the snow, he wanted to wear shorts or something similar. So I could at least have something to toss over him.
I usually
And then now that I
always have a
have
collapsed
one.
cardboard box to
Yeah.
slide underneath my truck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and now that I have a fridge, it's so nice to, like, we're going for even snow wheeling or just going out on a day trip thing, and you could throw a lunch and a few beers in there, and you are square.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, it took you a
I
while to
usually,
come around to that one.
I know, I tried to hold out, man. Big ice
And-
really had a grip on me.
We did learn once the hard way. If you're like rolling cheap, like me, and you're not having your spare on a fancy wheel, make sure your lug nuts match.
Oh,
'Cause-
God. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
That's a thing.
Remember Jesse's
Yeah.
spare?
Yeah.
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 That's what I was just bringing up.
Well,
I think we.
I mean, we all point fingers at Jesse, but I'm the same boat.
yeah.
We got him out of there.
My spare's on a stock wheel, and I don't have the conical lug
Yeah.
nuts.
Not good.
Visits.
Well, those either.
I think that I feel like I had I think I maybe had one or two lug nuts that I gave Jesse in that whole situation,
Yeah.
but then we just took them from the other wheels, so it's perfect. It worked out okay. We'll do that with you, Steve. Don't worry. Just in
Yeah,
trade
you
for
guys
some
said-
food.
I'm all in my truck now after that event.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
So
That was
Sean's
good.
donut reminds me. So, what's a piece of kit you have that you have never used?
Oh,
Ooh.
my weird little snatch block.
Your
thing.
donut.
Yeah, the one you can't find. Yeah.
I also have a brand new hatchet in my camp gear that's been there for like probably 2 years. Because again, it's one of those things where I go with all of you guys or Jesse or Luke or whoever, and like I'm never the first one to be like, I'm cutting that wood. I'm like 4th or 5th on that list. So I never get to use that stuff. The only time I get to use those things are when I bring my chainsaw, because I want to use it so badly that I'll just kick everybody out of the way and be like, I'm going to cut it.
So next time we're out camping, we're all going to sit there freezing until Sean uses his new
until Sean
fire.
Yeah.
until Sean puts an extra jacket on and gets his Mr. Buddy out on the tailgate.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, I bring a fire extinguisher every time, but have never used it. But that's kind of one of those things that it's like
a great thing.
Yeah,
everyone should probably have one in their vehicle. Yeah, it's good that we haven't needed it, but it's one of those things that it's like, yeah, we should probably all have one.
It's like condoms. When you finally get to use it, you don't want it to be expired.
Right,
yeah. Right, guys?
Well, I have a gunshot wound kit in my Jeep, and I've never had to use that. So
we don't want to use.
That's good that we haven't needed to use that.
That's not going to be one of those.
Tourniquet,
we're waiting until Sean gets there, and we're using the gunshot wound kit.
This is another piece that I want Steve there for.
Yeah, Steve's great. His kit's awesome. All the things that I never thought I'd need, I'm like, you know what? Thanks, Steve. And he's like, here's extra.
Yeah, I just need sutures.
Yeah, nothing like sutures under the stars.
I hope it doesn't come to that.
Yeah.
That one's pretty likely. There's a good chance at some point we'll need those.
With Mike, anything is possible.
Hey,
the guy is like the master of hurting himself.
This is true. Mike is the most injured on our trips. Yes. Definitely
draft.
Yeah, absolutely. Mike is the first to injure himself, and usually the only to injure himself.
He also needs croquis on his sunglasses because those come flying off while he breaks his arm.
Yeah, it's a wrist. And I tightened up my watch one rung, and I finished draft weekend.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
went to the hospital on Monday.
So you've done the wrist,
a toe.
Yep,
twice. The toe was twice.
Ankle.
The same toe.
Oh yeah, twice.
Ankle.
Yeah, two different trips.
I think I re-injured the ankle.
In the moment,
it
didn't seem like a re-injury, but
no, that was one I had broken before.
Okay.
I had a different trip. It was a buddy's wedding. I slipped on ice in Atlanta, Georgia.
Yeah. Okay. No one believes that.
Extreme ice.
The dumbest thing.
in the hottest part of the South. Ice.
I know.
You call it hot
sure.
But...
It was that winter storm, and it was hilarious because everybody down there were just like donks abandoned on the side of the highway, and there's like an inch and a half of snow. I'm in a Kia Soul, just like cruising around like a zombie apocalypse, and the people are just like getting out of their cars. Like, nope, done.
See, that's a zombie apocalypse movie I want to see. It's always in like some super like New York or LA or something. I want to see it in Georgia with just donks just everywhere. The Carolina squat trucks just abandoned.
Squatting trucks and like, a bunch of mud trucks. You're trying to get through town.
Because
some guy in a mud truck.
Toyota Tercel got out no problem. That thing gets 50 miles to the gallon. It's tiny. It can squeeze through everything. Yeah. That's what I would bring is a Toyota Tercel.
That's a good one. The other one was a thing that you situation you had. You didn't have something that would have helped you.
Oh, reverse.
You were fine. You didn't even need reverse, Mike. We didn't even realize you didn't have it till we got to the staging area again, basically.
I almost hit a tree. Turn it around up there.
That was the one thing. But also, that was an impressive turnaround without reverse.
Oh man,
Totally fine.
I know. If I had slid on me, it would have been rough.
Just pulled your back. It would have been fine.
I have two to mention there. One was a winch. Twice I've gotten stuck in the snow without a winch, and been by myself, and it's kind of sucked. I mean, actually, it was probably more than twice, but there was one that was real bad, and that's what sold Natasha on me getting a winch was that particular time. So, I mean, was it a bad thing then?
Yeah.
I had maybe in the moment, but not so much the aftermath because
Silver lining.
Because then I had free reign to get a winch. The second thing I have just forgotten, so we can move on and I'll come back.
Well, talking about winches, man, I was told when I had that TJ, in the first snow wheeling trip, I got to go out with everybody. It was still a 4-cylinder. It was still a 5-speed, the black TJ. And I put that winch on the front of it. And Luke and I just fucking left you guys. We were like out there. The Mises were sideways stuck on a hill. And like everybody ahead of them was stuck. And it was real rough. And so like Luke and I both just hooked our winches up to the side and turned ourselves around and went home. I had like somewhere I had to be, and it was like a work event that I was like, I have to be there. And Luke just told you guys, see you later.
Top tier rules.
Yeah,
But
snow wheeling. He didn't want to be there.
yeah, it was like
He didn't want to be there in the first place.
Like, and we just left. I was like, wow, like that doesn't matter at all. I can leave by myself anytime I want to.
I had front locker.
Okay, yeah, that's good.
But when did you really need it? Because you made
that's fair.
everywhere. Yeah.
Need it?
Yeah, I mean,
True.
obviously
Yeah.
we're shying away from the like.
It's a relative term,
gear,
right?
What gear do
Yeah.
you bring?
I
But
mean,
the
if I wanted to take it
things-
harder to line,
yeah, the things we need are definitely more traction. More traction and the winch is a huge. I mean, if you don't regularly go out with friends who have winches, you need a winch. If you ever plan
Yeah,
on
it
going
really
anywhere alone,
Is a big thing.
you need
Yeah, by
A
yourself,
winch.
it's a huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
it's insurance. Honestly, it's whatever, even if it's the cheapest Harbor Freight winch, if it works once, it's paid for itself. They are
Yeah.
so
Only needs to work that one time,
Invaluable.
right?
yeah.
Yep,
Yeah. And then always more traction adders.
Yeah, it
Traction
is a-
adders are key.
definitely. The winch is a big expense. Like, there's no doubt about
Yeah.
it. It is a big expense. But if you're doing something by yourself, like, man, it's like 2 toes away from being totally paid for if you've got some terrible situation you're in and you got to call whatever, Casey Liddell.
That's off road.
It's off-road recovery kind of scenario, right? Like those guys provide a service that is probably not super cheap, and I think we're all lucky that we haven't had to use it. So,
Yep.
Yeah, there
how
have
many
been a
times
couple
have you seen a
times.
video of someone getting tugged and they're pulled and they slide down the hill
Yeah.
versus being able to use a winch line that's controlled. You're only going to go one direction.
Yeah, much
Yeah,
more
yeah,
controlled.
absolutely.
I do remember at least once an acquaintance had called me because they were stuck, and so Sean and I went out and rescued them, and that was a good time for us. But I mean, it would have been an
I got stuck.
enormous tow bill that. Because there's
Oh,
no
yeah.
way a tow truck would get up there. Yeah, it'd be some sort of
Mhm.
search and rescue. And
And that's how I met Rob.
oh, really?
Yeah. He was out there.
That's awesome.
Anyway.
And now we're married.
I got stuck by myself.
Nah.
That's now we're married. I got stuck by myself on Pine Mountain, and luckily walked to cell service because there wasn't any right where I was. And I called Luke, who was kind enough, even though he hates the snow, to come to rescue me. Probably because Mike was out of town or something, because I would have called Mike first for sure. But
So yeah, just to keep Luke out of the snow.
yeah. But then the
Doing him a
local
favor.
4-wheel drive club came by and they pulled me out actually instead. So it was great.
Oh, nice.
And then I met Luke at the bottom of the road and then we went and had a beer. It was a wonderful day. I was really
And
only
Luke-
stuck for like 30 minutes. So
Luke's prayers were answered. He
They
was
were.
like, "Please God, don't make me get in this."
I don't even know if he had to go to the snow. I think he made it to the gravel road and was like, all right, we're out of here. It was a good day.
He called some people
I
to
don't
go
know
up
what-
and get you.
Yeah. Exactly. He probably did. I can't think of a thing. I think I've been really lucky with these things because I don't know of a thing that I haven't had that I feel like I really needed. There have definitely been times
A
like
fuse?
that time where I needed the winch, or I would love to have had a winch. I probably could have gotten out, things like that. But like,
Well,
I need
what
a
about-
fuse that Mike helped me with, but I also could have swapped that out for like the horn fuse or something. Like you said, I've got fuses, and I said, great. And
Okay.
they're still in there.
So there's a saying of, if you can do a lot, you don't need a lot. And I think because we've all been pretty handy around cars, that we have been able to get around the needing of equipment. So if anything, that's
Sure.
a testament
Yeah.
to get experience, go out and, like I've said in previous ones, get a $500 XJ, fix it up, and just go drive. Go break somewhere and
Seat
figure it
time.
out. Yeah, or
$1,500
secretartisttp
if you
at
need a four-wheel
gmail.com.
drive.
You can get a sweet Nithon crash finder.
I'm gonna text you, Tyson, when I'm out, saying I did what you told me to.
And I am
Dude.
freezing, and I can't find my way. And I'll say, if you're calling me, use fucking Google Maps.
Yeah.
It's true.
Meet me at the bottom of the hill. We'll go get a beer.
Got an issue?
Oh, my
Here's a
goodness.
tissue.
Oh my God. That's a good one.
Oh, food stuff. So we got Steve here. We might as well make him tell
Oh,
us
that's brilliant.
what's the food stuff gear you would not want to leave, like for a camp trip without. What's your prep stuff? Like, what do you got?
That's a tough one.
Cheez-Its, goldfish.
I mean, I have like
Rope
2
vines.
tubs that never leave the truck, and that's just all of my cooking shit.
Yeah.
But
What's
that's,
your what? Well, you're known for bringing a
these little
hibachi grill.
these little foldable kitchen knives are the best things I've ever purchased.
Foldable kitchen knives.
Yeah. So there's just like a pocket knife that folds out
Yeah,
into like a santoku. It's perfect.
Sick.
that's awesome.
And cutting boards is infinitely important.
Yeah, I always forget that, and I end up with a paper plate that's got 6 holes stabbed through it.
And green cans and the adapters that you can take a green can to like a regular propane.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah, the adapter is
Yeah.
a big deal.
And
One of these
pre-cooked
days.
bacon is
Oh yeah.
top tier important.
I am gonna swear by the
Well,
silky
I'm
saw.
all out of gear.
That I'm gonna reiterate that. That thing, it's tiny, it fits anywhere, it will chop a
Yeah.
fucking tree down. Those things are awesome.
Anywhere?
Anywhere, Mike.
Second thing I've Googled tonight,
Yeah,
by the way.
I still need to get one.
Yeah.
I've wanted
I
one
know
since
what
I
it
used
is.
yours,
I've
Tyson,
seen it.
on a trip, and yeah, they're great.
It's so
I did
sweet.
buy
It's so satisfying to use.
18-inch tree saw blade for the Sawzall.
Hell yeah.
So
Yeah,
it's,
I
like,
have one of those.
it's like a full 18-incher. This thing's huge.
The thing,
And you can fit that anywhere too, according to Tyson.
Yeah.
if you're brave enough,
You can cut that into some cool
Whoa.
audio.
Ooh.
remember, being brave is not the absence of fear. It's recognizing and confronting the fear.